recording again. Folks, this is what you all came for. This is how Trump is reacting to some of the news. Now, pretty much every right-wing pundit under the goddamn sun is coming after Donald Trump for royally fucking up their election. I mean, like, it were razor-thin margins. It was thinner than it was supposed to be. Usually Republicans usually the other party has an advantage when you win in the presidency, but this didn't happen. And a lot of the people that Donald Trump anointed as the kings and queens in their respective elections got rocked and they lost. It's not all, flowers and roses, because you did get a number of people who were on the January 6th committee who were weak Republicans to begin with. So they felt like, hell, they'll go out on a Hail Mary. And a lot of them got unseated in a couple of their House races too. But a lot of Republicans are really pissed with Trump. And so I think what I want to start with here is the state of things. At the time we're recording right now, Donald Trump has not yet announced for presidency, his run for presidency, but with Joe Biden doing everything but announcing for presidency, and Donald Trump, rumors have been him announcing for presidency all throughout the first half of Joe Biden's term. It was supposed to happen in August of this year. It's now event or press conference has been announced for Tuesday evening on the 14th, I believe. Hold the escalators. And we now have a statement from Truth Social and Trump's email blasts, which should give you a little bit of a teaser into how things are going for the old Donald. So it says, if CNN was smart, they would open a conservative network, only have me on, and it would be the most successful network in history. Fox only made it because of me, Twitter only made it because of me, and even Facebook is now in the tubes, having lost almost $90 billion in value since I was taken off, which was considered to be one of the biggest mistakes in business over the last 2 years. Because with the boy, this motherfucker doesn't know how to end a sentence. Jesus Christ. Because with Trump go tens of millions of people who believe in MAGA, who want to make America great again and put America first, along with a big fat donate button to the people who receive the email. Rip my vocal cords.
So much in that one statement.
Like, a lot of running.
Freud would be having a clinic.
I wasn't born here, but that was rough.
Where do y'all begin? What are your thoughts here? Because Trump is seething. The fact that the knives are coming out for him and these election results are not going great for him. And so, to the extent before we go in here, how are you reacting to, the state of Donald Trump? I mean, there are some people in chat here. I saw someone earlier who said that Trump doesn't have the sauce anymore, that he honestly fell off. Like, do you think that Trump in this Republican Party, where, people are starting to warm up to DeSantis more, DeSantis has started to outlast a lot of the early predictions that said he would cool off a little bit, think Trump is toast? Or, is Teflon Don got one more good game in him?
Yeah. I think ahead, sorry. The Republicans held on to Trump for so long because they didn't have anyone to replace him with, and now they do. And DeSantis is in a lot of ways, I think, scarier than Trump because he's not completely incompetent and he can put together a sentence or two. And, maybe, I don't know what the Republican base is like now. Maybe they've been too damaged from, 4+ years of Trump, this guy who won't go away. But maybe they want someone who actually is competent, who actually can pretend like play a respectable politician on the world stage and things like that. I mean, I don't know. I think the Republican Party, I think they would prefer Ron DeSantis over Donald Trump for sure. And I think now as DeSantis is obviously interested in the presidency, he's obviously interested in being the leader of the party and in that role, and he's interested in taking on Trump, and he doesn't seem afraid of Trump at all, by the way. At least that's not the impression that I get. I think the Republican Party would be happy to dump him. And we're already kind of seeing that New York Post piece, that wasn't good for Trump.
No, for sure. And even
I'll get that New York Post piece on screen while Ceez you're talking.
Yeah, some of those, even some of the Fox News reporting and stuff, they were kind of throwing little slights at Trump. And And they're enjoying their new fresh darling, DeSantis. When DeSantis announced the winning and stuff, and they were chanting like crazy for him. He has kind of that energy that side. They have a lot of energy, and I do see people like that as much more dangerous, because when people that on that side and are much more competent than Trump, that's scary. I think that Trump will have two big battles, and if he thinks his battle first is going against the left and all this stuff he likes to say, the radical left, I think that
left,
yeah, the radical left, totally a problem. No, I think what he needs to really address, especially if DeSantis does decide to run, that's going to be his biggest obstacle moving forward, because that guy has a lot of energy behind him. And before, remember when Trump was doing his runnings, he wasn't removed off anything. He was full steam on Fox News. He was full steam on Twitter. He was full steam everywhere. He has a huge mountain to climb now, depending especially what moves forward and in terms of what outlets he's going to be on and what he's going to be speaking on. And since then, he's had beef with Fox News, and now he's like Newsmax man and stuff. I don't know. It's a lot for Trump to work with, and it's a bigger uphill battle. And with DeSantis there too, I think it's going to be tough for him, because it feels a little bit like it's worn out. It's a little expired. It's feeling like he fell off a little bit, just a little bit. And especially when we saw with some of the people that he backed during the midterms, a lot of them didn't do so hot. Like a lot of them didn't do so hot at all.
But remember, that's not his fault, right? Yeah. Can't blame him on that one.
Yeah, if they would have won, it would have been good for him.
Yeah,
if they lost, that's their fault.
I did what I could.
It was interesting, Dan, when you sent that whatever. I guess that was an email going out to his supporters. Because I'm like, wait, like, is he gonna announce the run for president? Like, what? Like, I don't know if he was like trying to put something out there to get like maybe CNN to bite.
Well, this is the response. I mean, like, this is definitely not CNN. Like, of course, listen, there are much bigger things going on at Turner Broadcasting Services, let alone Warner Media, which is the parent company of CNN, which is currently getting like hacked like a chainsaw by its new parent company Discovery. There are much bigger things going on than the CEOs of Discovery looking at, CNN, one of the least profitable, biggest headaches we have in the portfolio. Yeah, let's start another one devoted to Trump. That's no, bam. Like I this is not meant to be like a dig on you, but like that's like business is definitely not working that way. It was never going to goad him. I think this is definitely this is just him bloviating like he usually do, giving red meat to his base, and also playing a little bit of defensive offense, because let me just get some of these clips ready in a moment here. The Republican Party in general is coming out for him. Like, one thing I played from the election coverage straight up was Ben Shapiro, of all people, kind of going in and saying, listen, there were situations where Donald Trump was fundraising for, I believe it was Blake Masters. It was some other major Republican race. And it was something where in the email itself, according to Ben Shapiro, it was like 5% of the money from the donation in that email would have gone to that Republican who ultimately lost in the campaign, and the other 90 to 95% of it would have gone to Trump's coffers. And they're like saying it in the email. It was like, we're robbing you and you're gonna say yes. And people did. And the result was Trump held the bag and kept holding it, while everyone else, like in the Republican Party, was ran dry by this. So I was saying that instead of getting to the clips here, but I think that is just kind of insightful seeing what's happening.
There's a part, like, I don't know. I'm just looking at that. I'm like it feels like Trump might be looking for a job rather than trying to run for president. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe he's broke, kind of. I don't know. But like,
do you think he's doing the Kanye Colin Zuckerberg going to be like,
can I get $50 million, please? Like,
no. So before y'all go in, I have a clip from Newsmax where you see a Trump lackey who was like, hey dog, you may want to tap the brakes on this whole thing. We may not, not run for office, or at least not announce soon, because you're taking a lot of L's here, and we need to, claw our way into at least gridlocking the Democrats, if not holding the Senate. So, Lord help us.
is about Herschel Walker. Now, you just said everything over the next month is about Herschel Walker. Having said that, I understood there could be an announcement before that from somebody that resides at Mar-a-Lago. So does that change his plans as far as announcing?
So no formal decision yet. Of course, President Trump had said that he would be making an announcement on November 15th, next Tuesday. I'm advising the president to hold off until after the Georgia race, after Herschel Walker. Priorities A, B, and C need to be about Herschel right now. This is bigger than anything else in the country. We got to show the focus is on Georgia, keep the country rallying. And a really critical point here is that Brian Kemp holds many of the cards for what's going to happen with Herschel Walker. There were a lot of the Kemp-Warnock ticket splitters. Kemp didn't do anything for Herschel Walker in the general election. If Kemp wants to show that he's a leader with some brighter future ahead of him, then he needs to get out there and really hustle for Herschel Walker. We need all hands on deck for this one.
Yeah.
No, that's a reference for let's throw Kemp into the ring. Let's throw Brian Kemp in. Just anyone but Donald Trump. Because remember, especially people in Georgia, for Raphael Warnock's original runoff race in 2020/2021, it was Donald Trump who said, oh, there's so much fraudulent voting going on in Georgia. You should protest the fraudulent voting by not participating in the election. And the Republicans in slow motion in Georgia were like, no. So, like, this is a raw wound for Republicans in Georgia of, like, Donald Trump is the one doing election meddling for us, and that's why Joe Manchin's doing our dirty work, and not someone with an actual R by our name. It's by their name. So, they're the ones making the analysis who are like, hey, Don, kindly, respectfully shut the flying fuck up when it comes to Georgia right now while we get this W that you just fumbled for us, please. Like, sit on warm the bench for us while we clean this mess up, all right?
Yeah, he's not going to listen. He doesn't listen to anyone. He just does what he wants, you know? Like, he has his advisors, but at the end of the day, they're just hoping that he listens, or they're just hoping that he feels like listening to them that day, you know? I don't think he thinks of himself as part of anything bigger than just himself. He thinks of himself as a solid, single entity, and he's like, I'm going to do this because this is what I think that I should be doing right now, and everybody around me is here to support me, but ultimately it's about me. He doesn't see himself as part of the Republican Party other than he thinks he's ahead of it, right? Other than he thinks he controls it, right? He doesn't see himself as being a player in a bigger plot to win a bigger system, right? He just does what he wants to do. So, I mean, they can advise him all they want, but he's going to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, he's I mean, look at his history. He's never been a party first guy. He's not a traditional, well through and through Republican party member and endorser. We've seen from the history and stuff. And yeah, we've only seen when he was a president, we've seen the cabinet. If someone tries to tell him something what to do or advises him otherwise of what he believes in, he just fires them. Like, he doesn't listen to anybody. He runs his own ship, and that can be to the detriment of the Republican Party. So I want to see, I want to see them fight amongst each other. I want to see some,
Let them
Trump
fight.
already was throwing out some disses on whatever the hell was it Truth Social, whatever the hell he's on, Jesus Christ. Talking about, oh, I know more about you than even your wife does. I'm like, oh yeah, please get on each other. Go ahead, let them fight.
You want to try that again, Donald? You want to try that again?
This is going to make
you're supposed to say
even better.
You're supposed to say you know more about his wife, not you know more about him than his wife, Donald. Oh man, he's really What
Donald said is right, Dan. Donald said it correctly.
And before you jump in here, my semi-serious point is that so far the best Donald Trump has got in the nickname department for Ron DeSantis is Ron DeSanctimonious. I mean, bam, you come up with better.
That's way too smart. He doesn't know what Sacramento means. He doesn't know what that means.
Neither do any of his followers. Like, bam, you've come up with better shit than that. I think Ron DeScandalous is hot, dude. Like, he needs to be testing. He needs to be running some focus groups on that. He needs to test that on some of the rallies.
The Scandalous is like too slick. That's kind of cool.
It's actually a dope name, actually.
Yeah, I don't
that was yours. I swear you got that.
Scandalous is kind of like, that's kind of hot.
I think when it comes down to DeSantis and Trump, though, like I think Ron DeSantis would have to go so low, like he would have to keep it so real to actually like get people to look at him as the front runner over Trump. And I don't think he's going to do that. Like he's not going to be that. Like he's not going to be as grimy as Trump would be. But if DeSantis got out there and said like this guy lost 2020, he was a one term, he didn't do anything for the real conservatives, and he's all about himself. Like if he got out there and talked like that, he could actually make some noise. But I can't really see him do it. And Trump has the real cult following. Like Trump has that energy that is like, this is the conspiracy theory people are, for the first time in their lives, being like not being apolitical. Like if he kind of taps into that energy, which I don't know how he's going to do it again, it'd be difficult to kind of restart that engine. If he does it though, like all those people are going to flock to Trump. I don't really see DeSantis having that charisma and like being able to take it as low as he'll need to do. He's probably scared to talk about Trump like that, honestly.
I think even DeSantis, I'm not trying to give this man strat, but it's like basically if you just kind of bait Trump and just let him dig his own grave, that's a good strategy because he can just kind of go on a whim.
Hey, man.
And like, I mean, metaphorically, Jesus.
Let him punch himself out.
And another thing, it's like, I think that Trump did have that audience, but let's not forget how weird things have gotten and got when he kind of came back into the eye and was still really kind of pro-vax. That made that side a little, they feel that kind of put them off a little bit too. And I know he's flip-flopped since then, but he came out big pro-vax, and the conspiracy theory people, that was supposed to be their voice, and that was kind of against everything they said. And you see, lame people like Candace Owens still mad about that and stuff like that. So on that side, I think that there's still a little bit of contention too, even among the conspiracy theories, where it's like, what happened to our guy? The CIA got him now, or something like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that he would have even had more steam if he still didn't come back and was trying to claim the vax was on him. But he kind of took an L on that one too, in his own circles.
Well, the good thing is that all the vaccine and COVID talk is basically over. Like that.
But I'm saying, like, if you want to use a weapon politically, you can
Florida's
still use it.
trying to revamp that debate. Yeah. They're trying to get rid of all the vaccines.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's another conversation, but I thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, remember that his speeches, the crowd was booing the vax stuff. I remember that.
Yeah. I guess I would need some more insight before I could really offer any like kind of educated opinion on this, as far as what percentage of Republican voters would consider themselves MAGA voters, right? Trump sycophants, right? How many Republican voters only voted for Trump because he was the candidate that their party put forth, and they couldn't stomach voting for a Democrat or not voting for anyone, right? So how many of those people who voted for Trump want a different candidate, but they only voted for him because that's who they were given, So I would have to see how that breaks up. I would assume, maybe I'm just being hopeful in this, but I would assume that there's more of those people than there are the very hardcore culty Republicans. And I think a lot of the establishment Republicans, they want to get away from that. They want to get away from those people, from that image, from the conspiracy theories and things like that. Because the party, they're really good at backing the party, right? They're really good at falling in line with a message. It feels like a lot of them would like to stop having to do that, right? Because it makes them look stupid. It makes them look hypocritical. It makes them go back on things. It makes them look like they have no common sense, right? And they're just backing these things that this guy just says. He thinks of something top of his head. He says it in a rally. People applaud, and then he keeps saying it over and over and over again. And then they're put in a position where now they have to support that message, right? And I think that overall, maybe, it worked for them for a few years. But I would think that, the Mitch McConnells of the party would like to get away from that eventually. So we'll see. Yeah, and like I said, I need more information. Needs more information is my answer.
Can I play a little clip of some Trump surrogates responding to all this DeSantis talk? Because I love to see him fight. I love to see him get all. I love to see him get all raunchy.
I know a lot of people.
Let's go.
People have opined about Ron DeSantis saying, "Oh, he'd be a great VP," but he hasn't actually played it that way.
No, I don't think so. And
I'm sorry, I have to pull a Sam Cedar here. I love that "Rock You Like a Hurricane" is the background of this.
That's a banger song.
But like, of course, they like haven't upgraded their like soundtrack since either the '80s or Guitar Hero 2.
That and Born in the USA is on repeat every day.
They love that one.
YouTube and Twitch copyright strikes be damned.
DeSantis is DeSantis because of Trump.
That's exactly
so
right.
I can't speak to that because I'm not the. I think I like what DeSantis is doing in Florida, 100%. But he needs to stay in Florida.
100%. I voted for him for governor.
Yeah, listen.
The governor.
Just stay where you are. You're doing a great job in Florida.
And I think if he does that, I think he's got a great shot in 4 years to run.
That would be perfect in my opinion.
Don't jump the gun.
Yeah, don't jump the gun. He's not ready yet. He's not ready yet. You know, he's just gotten his feet wet. And I think that's a problem that a lot of politicians do, and then they jump the gun. Or I think we'll see a couple people run, maybe that they're running out of time and they need to make their run right now. So
that might be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how it plays out. So let's say
that's pretty much the relevant part of the clip. The thing that set me off most of this like part is the Trump surrogate saying, yeah, you know, a lot of politicians run before they're ready. You know, Ron DeSantis really needs to wait his turn. Because, you know, when Donald Trump ran for office after being an esteemed senator for 20 years, after working his way up in Congress for 30 years before
after
that,
being governor of
and, you
a
know,
state.
after being governor of a state, once again, unlike Beto O'Rourke. And, I'm kidding. Unnecessary Beto smoke here, but I'm like, what I'm saying is I'm joking. Like Donald Trump had no political experience. Homeboy was a Democrat doing interviews with Oprah Winfrey talking about his Democratic vote in early 2000 when The Apprentice was just starting up. It wasn't until he started getting funny with Barack Obama's birth certificate that he started like actually caring about politics. All right, so this idea that Trump surrogates are going out there and saying, well, I don't know if Ron DeSantis has the political experience to be that, like, okay, you know what? Fair at this point, Donald Trump has literally been president, so I guess he has the political experience. But Ron DeSantis, at this point in his political career, has eons more political experience than Donald Trump had in this point in his age or political career.
Well,
and that's the
Obama
scare.
had too when he won his president.
Total, absolutely fair. Obama was a junior senator who hadn't even survived a re-election yet before he started getting antsy for the Democratic primary for president. And the thing with Ron DeSantis here is that because he has this political strategy, that makes him scarier, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's also was in the military and stuff, and I don't know about his CIA ties, but yeah, you know, he has a good track record as a politician. I mean, for him, but
and for a side,
yeah, but I feel like I don't know, like I just like we saw what happened with the Trump movement. And it was really, it was something that we'd never seen before. And although I do think it has fallen off to some degree for sure, I think it's still like miles ahead of what Ron DeSantis is trying to do out here. Like Ron DeSantis and anybody else, I'm gonna pick Ron DeSantis, except for Beto. No, I'm joking. But
Jesus Christ!
Today's topic is Beto supremacy.
Yeah. And also, he does have more Instagram followers than Gavin Newsom. But
yes, he does. He's kind of balling.
But I just feel like with Trump, the energy that Trump brings, that just like cult of personality, Ron DeSantis can never have that. Like he will never have a movement like that. And if Trump like gets in his bag and like really is like, no, I'm trying to beat this guy, like he's gonna do it.
I wonder if that like cult of personality is an advantage though in the long run, because those things tend to explode and then they diminish, which could be beneficial if you're trying to win an election, right? But I wonder, it's not the most stable of energies to bring to a political party. And like I said, maybe that's what they want, or maybe that's not what they want. So I guess we'll have to see.
Cult of personality gets you assassinated later in life, generally. Yeah. Not that I'm wishing that.
Elon.
Yeah,
allegedly.
It backfires for sure.
Politically. Yeah. I can certainly agree to that. I think that, listen, will Donald Trump announce at some point? Inevitably, he can't help himself. He does it for the love of the game. So is he going to announce anytime soon? I think so. Will he choose to announce before the Georgia runoff? Potentially. All I can say is this, in the terms of, and maybe I'll leave this for everyone's last word before I get to the chat, is the next 2 years, or at least the next year and a half or so, are going to be a scrumptious, fun for the whole family bloodbath between the two folks I have on screen, Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. Ted Cruz's wife was brought in last time. This is going to get worse. Listen, remember, Ron DeSantis is on Elon Musk's internet making videos about reading Donald Trump kids' books to his baby son, to his toddler son, talking about how much of a Trump supporter he is, all right? Like, these people are like, Ron DeSantis and a lot of other Republicans for the past 5 years have made themselves sycophants and made themselves support Donald Trump and debase themselves and completely embarrass themselves in the process to win favors by him, with the assumption that Donald Trump would be in office. And so they're kind of rooting on that. And a lot of people will be betting on that in the party. And so if Donald Trump has the momentum, he's able to recover from this week, like he's recovered from a number of really devastating weeks, again, while he was president, to be fair, then if he can prove himself to continue to be an asset for the Republican Party, then I see a more difficult time for Ron DeSantis winning here. Maybe a VP pick is out there if he doesn't fly too close to the sun, but I also see that being difficult too. But you're going to see on the right a bloodbath. It's going to be very fun to watch. I want to see who's, at this point, there's Trump and there's Ron DeSantis. Who's dumb enough to jump in as third? Who wants both of that action?
Probably, if anybody.
Good.
He just wants to be on TV.
Good.
Third. He loves to be third. Like, he loves to just like be the guy who's just annoying everyone.
What do you mean by that?
Nobody wants him there. Nobody wanted you in the parade, Ted. Why are you here? He's always
the first loser
where you don't want him. So he would do it, I think.
Yeah, he would love to be on TV for sure.
He has no shame.
No.
When they're destroying him live on TV,
he loves it. He smiles.
He likes it. Yeah, he's into it.
It's like, oh, hit me harder.
Yeah.
Probably into that. He probably likes it a little bit.
It's either like or he thinks it makes him more relevant and important, and I don't know. Maybe he's just very, very insecure.
I already said Ted Cruz is like sloppy second, so I'm gonna stop here.
Mike Pence.
Yeah, I forgot about that guy.
Pence, that'd be content. That's gonna be fun over there.
Bam, do you want to raise my blood pressure and defend Mike Pence for president?
Mike Pence is like Hillary Clinton to these people now. Like, they're gonna hate him.
Yeah, bring him on there. Dude,
the way I felt that take in my soul, like that was so piercing. Mike Pence is Republican Hillary Clinton. Jesus Christ. Yo, I'm gonna be like walking that off in the morning. That I felt that one. Damn.
Speaking of Hillary Clinton, I think I gotta run, guys.
Well, okay. Well, Bam, thank you very much for joining. Appreciate you. You can be found on We Made It Podcast and all those other different things. Fuck you. Bye. Get out.
Yeah, there you go.
Bye, Bam.
All right. See ya.
Beto Army.